Welcome to Sponsored by Nobody. This week, sponsored by doctors. You should listen to them. It is February 2024, and we are playing Mistborn, Rebels Without a Cause, episode 14. I am Ian as the narrator, and we have X playing Y today.
I am Caitlin playing Mildred.
I am M.
Do I need to describe her every single time?
You don't need to describe her every time. No.
Okay, good.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, excellent. So we got Caitlin as Mildred and M as Winslorp. What did we do last session, guys and girls? People?
We went to a party.
Mm-hmm. I ended up making
and
a
we
lot
threw
of chaos.
stuff.
Yeah. People really don't like my character.
You did.
But that's
You
okay.
did. You were a naughty child, and I should probably punish you. Should probably give you some sort of timeout or a stern talking to, but I won't. It seems like too much work.
I wonder. Oh, it never really goes into it in the books because it's a very weird, twisted part of history. But in history, nobles had what they called whipping boys. And so, because you couldn't hit a noble child because they were noble. So, specifically, royalty children would have them. So the child would be giving a friend, quote unquote, that was a peasant. And whenever the noble did something wrong, the peasant friend would be whipped for it.
Heard about that.
Yeah,
I'm tempted to Google it to see if it's real. I also feel like Mildred is
totally
not
real.
the type.
That's 100% real.
No, I'm not saying
that. Absolutely not.
No, that's 100% real.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying Mildred would do that. Hey, wait. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, it's 100% real.
Isn't that wild part of history?
That is wild.
Just
can't hit a noble.
Let's
child.
not
Beat
first
a
of all,
servant instead.
No, of course.
Yeah, talk about psychological abuse to the noble child, but also massive physical and psychological abuse to the peasant child.
It's just
messed up on so many levels.
News all around. We're gonna.
Yeah, it's pretty normal style.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mistborn world is messed up in some other ways, though.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't put it past some of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm wondering if that exists in the Mistborn world to some level, and it probably does, because
although they are so much more of a fighting, the noble class. They're getting up to stuff. They're more militant, so they might be more willing to
rough and tumble,
smack their kids around a bit.
That's true. They do. There is a thing in Mistborn. So in order to become a Mistborn or a Mistling, which is the Allomancer, someone who can eat metal and use that metal, basically what they would do, because you can't, you're either born it or not, but there's not really a way to tell. It's normally something happens and you kind of just do it. So they call it snapping.
Right.
And
it's been a very long time since I read these books.
They call it snapping. And so what they do is they basically, it happens at extreme stress. So similar to X-Men, where mutants find their powers at extreme stress a lot of the time, same as Mistborns and Mistlings find their powers at extreme stress. So noble parents will often feed their child at 8 to 12 a vial of metals, all the reasonable cost ones, not atium, basically everything other than atium, they'll just shove down their child's throat. And then once that's in their stomach, they just start beating their child until their child either becomes a Mistborn Mistling or decides, nope, you can't use magic.
That's awesome.
Cool. That's great parenting right there. That's awesome.
You better not try and pull that on me. I swear to God, I will stab you.
I'm fully picturing Mildred just coming over to Winslorp one day with orange juice and puts down the orange juice, and Winslorp just drinks the orange juice, and Mildred's smiling and Winslorp's smiling, and they're having a lovely conversation, and the sky is like the sun is shining and the sky is bright, and all of a sudden Mildred just whips out a cane and just smacks Winslorp across the face. Just boom.
No, she's much more likely to do that same scenario, except overlooking a beautiful view, and she's gonna just like push him down,
push him off a cliff.
Just, like a moderate one, not one that's gonna like kill him. Just maim a little bit.
No, just like you go up to the top of, because you have a wall around your
exactly.
around your mansion. Yeah, just Winslorp is like, do that like thing that kids do where they hold their parents' hand. Yeah, like just holding their parents' hand on, like walking like a balance beam along like the edge of the. And then, you just push them. Oh no! How dare!
No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't. She's not into the system. We're not happy about it. We're not going to feed into the child abuse anymore.
Yeah,
moved on. Although anymore implies she used to. I don't think she liked it even then.
Yeah, no, this is on that happy
we'll be kind to Winslorp. It's all good. Winslorp has no need to worry on that front anyway. She might smack him upside the head now and then, but
for his own good.
Remember, I do have a pet raccoon.
You're gonna eat your vegetables. Yeah, you're gonna eat your vegetables though, Winslorp. And so is your pet raccoon. Does it have a name yet?
No, we haven't named him yet.
I picture that still in, like, I picture that in character.
Just no, I haven't named
Mildred. Mildred, have you named your raccoon yet? And Winslorp, no.
100%. Absolutely.
I feel like I don't know what a good raccoon name is. I'll think of one at some point.
I don't know. We'll get there. Maybe he has to earn a name. Maybe he's got to do something ridiculous.
I feel like that's a good way.
Excellent. Talking about ridiculous. Talking about ridiculous, you got a book last session.
I did get a book. I got A History of the Darkness. Right?
Excellent.
Yeah.
You did.
A boring, dry history book that obligators read.
Yeah, it's
that I've probably read before.
Fairly standard propaganda. Yeah, nothing you haven't read before. Obviously, what was different about this one was it was nicely wrapped in a strap and like tied shut, and specifically handed to you by
Eland, right?
Eland
of House Venture.
Eland of House Venture. Yeah. So you get home, and I assume you read the two of you read the book.
Well, would we be going home
after the party?
No, I mean, like, no, I probably wouldn't open it in like a carriage or anything like that. We'd wait till we got home.
Yeah.
How late? Like, is it like?
I mean, you can wait till the morning. It would be reasonably late. You can wait till the morning.
I'm trying to decide if I would.
That's fair.
The like responsible adult in me trying to make sure the kid gets to bed on time versus the book nerd in me. Did you fall asleep in the carriage?
Oh yeah, I'm out cold in the carriage.
He did.
Cuddled up with my raccoon in my lap.
Ah, shoot.
We're struggling.
Okay. Well, okay, wait. Is it like a fully closed? Is it a fully closed carriage? So like,
it's a fully closed.
We've got a sleeping Winslorp, a sleeping raccoon, and I'm just sitting by myself in the carriage with this book. How long is this ride?
I don't know. 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20.
Oh, if it's 20 minutes, I'm going to peek. I'm going to peek in the carriage. Right. That's too long to wait. I need to read my book.
That's fair. Okay, you peek in the carriage. I want you to roll me
Oh no, this is a bad idea.
A wits roll.
Wits. How many wits do I have?
You can have +1 for your history buff well read. And you can go a +1 for your observant good memory. So that's 7 dice.
Okay.
And there is no fail to this roll.
Okay.
But the better you get, the quicker, because either way, you're going to solve this book.
So I'm rolling 7d6.
Yeah, you're going to roll 7d6. Either way, you're solving this book, because not solving this book is stupid, because I gave it to you as part of the plot. So,
it's a MacGuffin.
Yeah, it's a MacGuffin. So either way, you're going to solve the book. The thing is how quickly do you solve it?
I've got 2 5s, 3 2s, a 3, and a 6.
Excellent. 2 5s and a 6. That's fast. That's basically as fast as you can do it.
Nice. I'm a good reader.
You start looking at this book, and
I say
there's random pages are dog-eared, whether they're dog-eared on the top or the bottom. Some words are crossed out, some words are circled, some are underlined, some are boxed in, some whole sentences are crossed out or underlined or circled. It looks like this book has been scribbled on, kind of thing, very deliberate scribbling,
so
but it does look scribbled.
I assume that if I'm my initial instinct would be to go through, your dog-eared pages and start one by one, and we're going to look and see if there's any sort of revealed message. If I only read the underlined words and ignore the crossed out, am I getting a message of any kind?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're problem solving.
You as you say, you immediately start connecting the dots of underlined words are on the this type of page. Circled words are on this page, crossed out words are on this page. You immediately realize the code, and you start reading the book as if you were born fluent in whatever code this is.
Mildred is very smart.
Yeah. Reading the code, it basically says, Ellen says, House Venture is not in the best of places, because obviously with his father dead, people are starting to try and take down what was a great house. However, he's turned to some unlikely allies that he gets a feeling you might have some mutual friends potentially. He alludes to, he doesn't come out right and say it, but again, with the success you got, he alludes to the fact that he is now allied to some degree with the rebellion.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't know how much he is allied with the rebellion, but he definitely, you can safely assume the reason he hasn't been executed, or assassinated, is because the rebellion is helping keep away assassins.
Okay. How was this book marked up? Is it ink?
Yeah, it would be ink, because it would be all quill, right? You'd have.
Well, there would be pencils and charcoal and etc. etc.
I guess, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out. This is dangerous.
Yeah.
Mostly, I mean, it implicates me as well as him.
Yes.
But I'd likely want to show the knitting circle, or at least explain to them. I'm trying to decide if I would need to keep the book as it is for the moment and risk having it in my possession, or if I should be destroying it. And if you're saying it's ink, I can't just erase it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. No, you can't. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it basically says he's more or less in league with the rebellion, that he's kind of heard some rumors that you would probably be, and his knowledge of you throughout the two of you knowing
guessed
since he was a baby.
Does it sound like he's guessing that based off of he's going out on a limb based off of what he knows of me and my character, or has he
it's that, and he might have heard a rumor or two, probably from the rebellion has leaked him a rumor or two.
Because that's also
kind of saying, kind of saying that the two of you should work together.
Yeah.
You know, like he's kind of alluding to a like, hey, I know that you're with them. I'm showing you that I'm also with them as a like sign of good faith.
Right.
And we could work together kind of in secret.
Is it oh, we lost M. Oh.
Did we lose M? M, are you there?
Oh no.
M?
He really did fall asleep.
No. M. All right. I'm going to stop it. Okay. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Yes. So sorry, I don't know if I said this at the beginning when you solved the puzzle, or the code, but you did it fast. Yes. But you didn't do it in the span of the carriage ride. Like you immediately realized it was a code in the carriage ride. Yeah. And I assume you went home and were too excited to sleep.
Yeah, that tracks.
And then, using notes and like a pencil or whatever, immediately started cracking this code. And then once you figured out the code, you learned all of that stuff.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So you are more than welcome to burn the book or burn all your notes and stuff, obviously.
Well, yeah, we're getting rid of the note.
And yeah, it basically says, to sum it all up again, it's Elend is working somewhat with the rebellion. He doesn't state how much he's working because obviously he doesn't want to.
Right.
Yeah. And he thinks that the current the rebellion has worked on taking down house. What house?
Was it the house of the party or a different one?
It was House Tikal, which
that was the house
party.
that threw the party, and they're the ones I spread rumors about.
Yeah. So basically, the House Tikal is hurting a lot more. But you guys learned from the party that House Tikal is hurting a lot. And apparently by the speed that you have now cracked that code, if it had been slower, other things might have happened. But basically, House Tikal will be hurting even more shortly. If judging by your he doesn't state dates and times, but obviously something's going to be happening soon to House Tikal, and they're going to be hurting more. Yeah.
So I worked through the night on that. So I assume it is the wee hours of the morning. It's light out well enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mildred is very awake because that's exciting. And so she's probably we're gonna march straight into Winslorp's room, and we're gonna throw open some curtains real wide and wake him up. It's morning. Let's go. Winslorp, it's morning. Get up.
Okay. Just 5 more minutes.
You can't lay abed all day. I have news.
What is the news?
Well, I read my book, Winslorp.
Oh. Was there a good story in it?
There was a very, very good story in it. Now, come, I'll let you get dressed. And she leaves, and you're still in your pajamas. We're proper. We're still nobles.
Yes. Let me get out of my pajamas, get my little pants on and my blouse and my knee pants. All right, I'm all dressed.
So you'll probably find Mildred in her little private library, which is also probably, I assume, the safest place in the manor to talk about these things, which is also probably why she did not tell you in your bedroom while you weren't quite awake yet.
I I wander over to the kitchen to grab some breakfast. I find some milk and some honey and some bread. I know that you like that, Mildred. I think about the things that give you comfort sometimes. So I, as an offering for my awful behavior last night, I come in with a little gift to chat with you about the book into your private study. Ask you. So, what was that? What I assume is, oh God, did I seriously lose my connection again? I'm back.
No, we can hear you.
Oh, you got?
We're good. Okay. We're good. Keep going.
Okay. Okay. Jeez Louise. So I
you brought me breakfast.
You with this yes, with the milk and the honey and the bread, and I asked, what was in this book? I assume something having to do with disillusion, as I see you've read through it very quickly, since you do like doing puzzles. I assume this has something to do with the conversation that I had tried to spark up with the owner of the house last night that kind of fell flat on its face.
Oh, certainly. Oh, it definitely has to do with House to Kill. Mildred's looking kind of more frazzled than usual, papers everywhere in the office, and she's barely noticed the food, and she's grabbing at papers. It was really quite interesting, you see. The puzzle, and no, you probably aren't interested in that, are you? Now, and then he used a cipher, and we'll get to the point. So, Eland informed me in this book via code that House Venture is in a little bit of trouble, and we knew that, but what we didn't know is why he's still alive. It's a good thing, obviously, but he's allied with the rebellion, at least in part. I'm not sure how much. And it sounds as if they're trying to bring down House to Kill.
Oh, good. I didn't like that man.
Something's going to happen soon. No, he was very rude.
So,
now I need to figure out what to do with this book. Yes, dear.
What? Do we know anything of the culprits of this undermining of House to Kill? Did the book say anything about that?
I don't know any specifics. It was very carefully written. It sounds as if something will be happening soon. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure by whom. But soon. And again, I don't know what soon means, if that's days or weeks. Probably sooner than weeks. Because House to Kill is definitely struggling, and they wouldn't want to wait for them to gain their footing again.
Interesting. Interesting. Are there any?
She's like gathering up her papers, trying to tidy things a little bit.
Are there any outposts with information about the transpirings of the uprising that's happened at the mine in radius to House to Kill that we could potentially venture to gather information?
There probably aren't any outposts. You don't know exactly where the mine is. The mine's not a common.
It's a secretive thing, right?
Yeah.
That's why it might be nice to try and find some outposts that potentially have travel from the goods and services.
He's to Kill is commerce and trade.
Yeah.
That's why I find an outpost that has some sort of movement from
like some sort of supply chain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. you could do that. The very end of the note kind of asks with like if House Tequil falls, it sort of asks for like, as someone who has known the houses for a long time and clearly played political games for a long time, is there like, what houses should we nominate? What houses should we go after next? Like, it's looking for, he's kind of curious about some like,
right.
You know, he wants your input so that you and him can kind of say to the rebellion, hey, as nobles, we're not telling you how to rebellion, but like if you
want to kill a guy, this guy would be great to kill.
If you took out this house, or if you like raised this house up, it would inflame these two things, and it would continue your domino effect a little greater.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, now how would we get him that message? What do you think, Winslorp? We could strap it to your raccoon and have it run in through the window. Probably cause too much of a scene, though.
No, I think honestly, if you let me handle this, I could potentially coerce my raccoon to do some sort of a
coerce,
some sort of an entrance to drop off a note, and I have trained my raccoon quite well. Is there any sort of other like dastardly deeds we might need the raccoon to do?
We'll definitely keep that in mind.
your raccoon has not stopped wearing that bow tie, by the way.
Oh, perfect.
And my raccoon loves red, I told you.
If someone tries to take it off of him, he will go feral.
You don't want to make a raccoon angry. That's terrible. Now the other question, so the three questions, I guess, that we have right now. What do we say to Eland? What message do we send? I'll need to think on that for a moment, what the best move would be. How do we tell him that message? And then what do we do with the book? Burning books sounds easy, but they don't actually. Go on.
A very, very evil idea.
Ooh, I like the sound of it.
So, House Tequil must fall, correct?
That would definitely destabilize a lot of things.
So, I'm assuming that if there was any word that there was a traitor amongst us, they would be punished severely, if not with capital punishment, correct? How loosely is this book coded without it being? How directly would it relate to anybody, if not just the owner?
Like if it got into anybody else's hands, how dangerous? Like how specifically does it talk?
It doesn't talk any names. It just says like, again, it's a history book that almost everyone has in their library because like the church, it's a church history book and it's very propaganda. And like, it doesn't say like, you know, Eland is working with like, it's like there's like, you know, Lord so-and-so, like from the history book, like a random lord, and you just realized Eland has made himself that lord and made you Lord so-and-so or Lady so-and-so. Like
so the only reason I figured it out is because he handed it to me.
Yeah.
And without that interaction, we wouldn't know.
Like if someone else handed it, if you handed it to someone else and they decoded it, they would assume
that my house is in trouble and I've allied with them and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. It would be, So my suggestion here
is to rid ourselves of House Tequil, is to frame this book within his hands without him knowing exactly what this is, so that he will be punished severely.
Ooh.
Fascinating.
That's an interesting idea. That's good. And
I think, but it does the rebellion. The book talks about bringing that house down. Is there wording in that? Like,
It talks about bringing down, like, it might say something like the roads between us must crash or crumble, and you've kind of connected the dots that, like, because you already know that House Tequil is falling,
right?
You're like, oh, roads is trade and commerce, you know?
Because it's okay.
Now it could be, you could kind of, if you, again, with such a good roll and your wits, I'll get you to roll again, but it's potentially possible that you could underline a few extra words or something, and you could change the meaning so that it was more like, you know, the food and manpower house, or the what is there, or there's the banking and trade moderation house, or, you know, like I don't think I would give you like the weapons house, you know,
right?
But
it would have to be subtle.
It'd have to be a subtle shift.
Obvious, and not an obvious plant, right? Like if it's too big a mark, then people might be suspicious.
Yeah, but you could shift it from House Tequil to maybe House Laquelle or House Hot.
What would be
or House Urbane?
Do we think?
Probably House Laquelle would be your best pick, because that's food and manpower. Yeah, that would probably be an easy one, because that's also, you know, the roads of working class,
right?
Or, you know,
and then it can be two birds with one book.
Yeah,
because House Tequil would be in possession of it in theory if we can pull it off, and it would be destabilizing at the very least the other house.
It would be stating public, like, not publicly, but the obligators would learn that the rebellion assumes House Laquelle is hurting, and they're trying to destabilize the food and manpower.
Yeah, it would red
is already kind of known in some ways, because like food and manpower are hurting right now, because with Scott dying with Scott being executed everywhere. Dying makes it sound a lot more peaceful for some. But with Scott being executed left and right, House Laquelle is hurting because food and manpower is lessened. So
it would be believable then as well.
It would be believable, and it would potentially slow the executions, because it's like, wait, they're hurting. So are we playing into their hand? Because if they get people to run away more, then they're hurting even more. Are we playing into their hand by executing lots of them? It makes them do a double take.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
then we can use the raccoon. And it was a joke, but we could legitimately use the raccoon to get the book into his house.
I mean, you also know a Mistborn.
Yep.
You have a Mistborn and a raccoon. Between the two of you, you can do some pretty cool things.
Ian, are we allowed to swear?
Always.
We're gonna fuck shit up between me and the raccoon. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's give that a try. We're gonna what do I roll for forgery?
For forgery?
Well, is that not what I'm doing?
No, that's fair. Forgery is good. I'm gonna do wits, and I'll give you the history buff and the observant, and I'll give you a bonus dice because you solved the puzzle so quickly. So like you're clearly good at this.
Would unobtrusive count, or am I stretching that too far? Can my writing be unobtrusive as well as myself?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
So that's 9 dice.
Nice.
9 dice, and I'll give you a difficulty of... Okay, I'll tell you what. If you want to do this, like, be able to do this quickly, it's a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
If you want to do this, or sorry. The overall difficulty is 2. If you want to do this quickly, it's a difficulty of 5. But the overall difficulty is only a 2 to do it. So it's a matter of yeah.
Do I have to decide before I roll?
No.
Okay.
No. It's just a sliding scale of how.
Right. Okay.
Like, because again,
how is like slow versus quick? Hours or days?
Like, quickly would be probably by next morning. If you work on this, you could do it. Slow is maybe like 3 or so days.
Right.
You have to really write out a code. And potentially even just get another copy of this book and redo it. The risk with being slow, and I'll tell you this right now, is the event has not happened yet.
Yeah, that was my thought. Is
if the event
it's too
happens,
slow, then we won't be able to do it potentially.
Not only that, but you're now referencing an event in the past.
Yeah.
And it hasn't.
It would be a problem. For sure.
You want them to be executed before the event happens, because if the event happens before they're executed, then
it'll mess.
They won't be executed, and they'll realize, oh wait, someone's trying to frame them.
Yeah.
So now people will realize they're trying to be framed maybe after they're executed, but it's less likely.
Well, people might not be looking into it after that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? That's why it's less likely.
Okay, well, 9 dice. Fingers crossed. Do I get... No, that's for later. I was going to say, does the raccoon give me a bonus? But that's for the planting, not the forgery. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. I have 2 3s, 2 6s, 2 2s, 2 5s. Oh yeah, 5s and 6s. There we go.
5s and 6s. Okay, so 5s with a boost.
I did it.
You flawlessly.
Perfect.
Like, just it does take you all night and the next morning, but you have elegantly, like, no one can tell where the new marks and old marks are. Any differences, discrepancies, it's flawless.
Perfect.
You've even smudged up some of the cover so it doesn't look like, if anyone had seen Ellen passing you this book, again, not that you assume is it's very, but like, if anyone had seen Ellen passing you this book, they probably wouldn't recognize it as the same book, because you've smudged up the color, you've changed the tie a little bit. It looks a little different, and again, it's a book everybody has.
Yeah.
So like, who's going to be able to tell? Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where are we? Okay. This.
Yeah, no, it's ready. If you guys want to sneak it into the mansion.
Well, I meant more like what time of day, like what's going on today?
It's early morning. It's early morning.
She marches into Winslorp's bedroom again, throws open the curtains. Repeat, round 2. Winslorp, get up, boy! I did it. Why are you always asleep? Boys,
Christ, woman, you don't sleep.
I'm going to need to after this.
Boy.
I'm just picturing Mildred burning pewter to stay awake.
I mean, probably.
Just like powerlifting.
3 days.
Yeah.
No, it's only 2 nights.
That's 3 days.
Well, it sounds better if you say nights, because then it's a smaller number. I'm just a dainty little lady here. Come on.
Yeah.
Her hair is getting slightly more frazzled as the days go on. Like there's pens sticking out of them and things sticking out of her bun.
Yeah, you open the window and there's not even light out. It's still like 3 a.m. Wake up!
Wake up! It's the middle of the night, Winslorp. Wake up!
Yes.
All right. Do you throw
it's
stuff at
early
me?
morning.
We got Winslorp.
Yeah. Good morning. I'll go get your tea. I'll get myself some as well.
Okay.
Lord knows I need
library. Meet me in the library. I have something to show you.
Perfect. Okay. I'll get some Earl Grey. I know that's your favorite.
Perfect. I need it.
All right.
The library's looking even more frazzled. Papers they're all over the floor this time. It's getting wild in here. Very absent-minded professor vibes.
I stumble in my pajamas with 2 cups of tea. The raccoon brushing up against my leg.
She very proudly holds the book straight out towards you and says, I did it. It's beautiful. Manic in her eyes. Just, I did it, Winslorp. I did it.
Yes. Sit down, have some tea, and let's chat about this.
She takes the cup out of your hand, shoves the book in it, and sits down, sipping.
I start thumbing through the book. Oh, wow. Very good work. This is some top-notch forgery.
Thank you.
I didn't know you to be a thief.
Well, don't advertise that sort of skill.
This is good to know.
Just very good at my penmanship.
Oh, yes. Very good to know. Wow. So, when do you think we should embark to go and plant this?
Well, I probably do actually need to sleep, but we also don't want to wait. Is it? No. Are we going with that? It's actually 3 a.m. How early in the morning is it?
Sure. Yeah, you can call it 3 a.m. So the mist is still out.
Yes,
you guys know about the mist.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it starts to get dark, the mist rolls in. The mist is quite thick. You can maybe see, on a really good day, you can see maybe 20 paces ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
On a bad day, you can see maybe 8 paces ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thick, swirling mist that clings to you, and people, Ska are very afraid of it. They will not go out in the mist without like strict orders and like pretty much being forced at knife point. Nobles don't fear the mist in the same way, but they don't enjoy the mist. It's not a fun experience. People say mist wraiths live in the mist, and like mist wraiths are wild monsters that like eat people, and they're terrifying, and no one's 100% sure whether they're real or not. But yeah,
well, let's find out.
You don't like again. The nobles go out in the mists because you go out in your carriage or whatever, or you do this like, but it's still not fun for the nobles. It's not an enjoyable experience. It's more of a like, I'm a noble. I have to do this because like I'm not a Ska. I'm not like terrified of it.
There's armed guards and things.
Yeah, but yeah, there's definitely guards, and you're definitely like the only people who are actively comfortable in the mist are Mistborns. So you yourself, would be very comfortable going out in the mist. You would be, the mist is like a second skin to you almost. It embraces you and it loves you. Mistlings more or less enjoy the mist. They could take it or leave it. You know, some like it more than others. Haze killers, which are the nobles trained specifically to kill mistlings and mistborns, they are conditioned to tolerate and like the mist, but they are still, you know, on a sliding scale of who likes the mist, you have Ska who despise it, Mistborns who love it, and then yeah.
Yeah, so
excellent.
How long do we have until daylight?
You probably have a handful of hours, maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't get light. Actually, no, it doesn't get light very early because of the ash clouds.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So you probably have a shortened day. So you probably are closer to 4, maybe
4 hours.
Maybe 5 on a really bad day. But yeah, 4 is probably a safe bet. 3.5 if you want to be able to get home safely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks out the window and she looks at Winslorp. I couldn't take you with me.
Why not?
Well, dear, you can't go out in the mist.
Has Winslorp ever shown to be scared of the mist? This is a question to Winslorp, but
no. Winslorp had a pretty brutal upbringing in the orphanage, so not many things scare Winslorp.
Yeah, you've seen Winslorp play in the mists before, sometimes, like in the evening, and like the Ska servants being like, "Please, Lord Winslorp, come back inside," and he's like, "La la 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 la."
But like maternal instincts, probably not loving it, because it wouldn't. Does it read as like a dumbass kid not knowing what's good for him?
No,
or would I?
It reads as, like, again, you're being a mistling yourself. You know, like you were a little scared of the mists, kind of more
because
or less
of how
as much of
talked about them.
Yeah, because of how everybody talked. But as soon as you snapped, again, unfortunately, when your parents beat you, when you snapped and realized you were a Mistborn, then you kind of went, oh, I can, because as soon as you burn tin, you can see through the mist as if it's bright as day.
Right.
And you can hear around you. You just kind of looked and you're like, oh.
We're good.
it's like if someone turns off the light and then you turn on the light, you're like, oh, there wasn't really anything to be scared of. That shadow was a milk carton, not a giant dragon demon monster. No. It's so.
Now, just clarifying, the misty monsters.
Actually, as a Mistborn yourself, who has, and elderly specifically, you have been around the block a few times. Mist wraiths, not in the city. There's no mist wraiths in the city.
Right.
Mist wraiths are very real, though.
Yeah.
They are.
But I wouldn't have encountered them myself, probably. Well, maybe.
You've probably encountered them at least once.
Right. But I wouldn't have been out of the city much.
Yeah, given your age and given the fact that you're a Mistborn, you would have gone outside of the city at least a handful of times to do secret family missions.
Yeah.
Because Mistborns are the ultimate assassin, weapon planter, spy, so you would have at least once in childhood or young adulthood done a family mission. And the odds of you not encountering a mist wraith while out and about in the mists at night in a random area you're not familiar with is pretty low. So you definitely have seen at least one.
But I would know that they're not in the city.
Yeah, so, no, you've never seen them in the city. They are
trying to take care of her little 8-year-old ward here and not get him in danger. But there are other danger things in the city in night.
The scariest thing at night in the city that you know of is other Mistborns.
Right.
That's because there's no burglars.
Right. Would I have any idea what would I be expecting to run into on this mission? Like doing this.
Honestly, you've done more or less this mission 100, maybe even a few hundred times before. Again,
by myself though, not
by yourself. You might see another Mistborn in passing, but you both would be wearing hoods and mist cloaks, so you kind of have no idea who, and a mask, and like
we'd have
you'd see each other in passing, maybe 30-40 feet away, and you just kind of both avoid each other. Tends to be like two assassins in the night waving at each other, being like, "Oh hey," like
have fun murdering, see you later.
Or again, I use the word assassin, but you know what I mean. Like
have fun ninjaing.
Yeah, two ninjas. Yeah. That's a good.
Yeah.
Two ninjas in the night. You might see the odd like patrol group, like close to someone's house, but not out and about. There might be the odd
houses would have those more than others.
Yeah, and then the odd carriage going from A to B. Like again, the funniest part about becoming a Mistborn is realizing the city is infinitely safer at night than it is during the day.
Right.
Like comically safe. So yeah.
Just trying to think the benefits of, because like going just zooming out, zooming back, potentially faster, but potentially riskier, because the trick with this one is that I'd have to get into the house and put the book somewhere where it's attached to Lord Tequil, but
you have to basically
without like, because I have to do stuff inside.
So RD is the other player for this game, listeners, who hasn't joined us yet because she's had some medical and personal troubles. She broke her foot. Don't think anyone's gonna care, but sorry, I shouldn't say anyone cares. No,
I'm gonna say it. I don't care that you broke your foot.
She broke her foot. No, it's not that no one's gonna care. It's I don't think any
care that information exists.
Yeah, that information exists. It's she broke her foot. We're sorry. She's hopefully gonna feel better soon. But her character is Twyla Elmer. And so obviously her character would have info and would be sharing info with you guys.
Right. She's in the knitting club.
Yes, she's in the knitting club. Her son, because again, she's an old lady. Her son is a pretty powerful, like high up obligator. Which is with the church, if you remember what obligators are. So you would know that, which means you would be able to tip him off that the other night at the party, you thought you saw a book on his shelf that looked suspicious. Like you were reading some books on the shelf and you flipped through one and you thought it looked suspicious, kind of thing. Like, so as long as you can get the book on a bookshelf or like to a certain area, you can very easily tip off an obligator that you trust.
Right.
In a way that he's not going to be suspicious of you. And
just
then
thinking it might be a good job for a bow-tied raccoon.
Yeah.
To be able to get in and out. And I can't control the raccoon boy. So I would need Winslorp to come with me.
Yes, you need me for the raccoon.
The raccoon boy would not listen to me. Like, he's appreciative that I bought him a bow tie, but that's about it.
Yeah. How long is this trip to out there going to take?
It took us 20 minutes by carriage. It will take longer on
foot.
Longer-ish, but not too much longer because we can go vertically.
Okay.
Like rooftop style.
Yeah. Winslorp's small enough you can just carry him.
Well, I'm old.
Yeah, but you can burn pewter.
Yeah.
Which burning pewter means you can throw a 50-pound boulder. Like,
that's true. Because that's where I put most of my stats too. Like, I'm gonna be
his boulder throwing.
Boulder throwing. Yeah. Why would you not put all of your stats into boulder throwing every time? Yeah. Okay.
First thing I do when I make a character, add boulder throwing.
Boulder throwing. Okay. So let's think. The plan. We need to be able to carry a book, a small child, and a raccoon there and back again without running into anybody else or dropping the child between a set of rooftops. Are you sure you want to come? Most children are not happy about going out into the mists. She's like,
I do like them. I do like the mist. I feel as though I will. I feel as though I'll be a benefit to this cause.
She's like,
don't see me as a burden because of the ways that I act in some ways, in some instances.
It's like, because it's not like, and obviously now cat's out of the bag. Winslorp has realized that Mildred did I say Mistborn at any point to him in this exchange, or is he just realizing that I'm some sort of misting that's not worried about it?
I don't know, Winslorp, do you think you know Mildred's a Mistborn or not?
I have my suspicions because of the way that she speaks about the mist. I walk up close to her and I lovingly hold her hand and I stare her in the eyes and I say, "We both have secrets."
Yes, we certainly do.
And I think it's for benefit to not openly discuss them, but we can trust one another around this. Yes?
All right.
Says the little boy.
I know, he's just a little boy.
Just like a creepy little boy.
He stares into your soul.
Why do you speak like that?
Oh, I love it.
Okay. Well, against her better judgment. All right, we're gonna suit up. Do we insert 80s style montage? We're grabbing cloaks. There's epic music, pulling masks down, you know.
You pull out your
cloak that fits him.
You pull out your old Mistborn cloak. Aww. You know, from your glory days.
I don't think I liked the glory days. I think they're probably part of what made me so salty about the whole institution.
Fair. Valid
but you know, it's a good cloak and I'm not going to let things waste.
Mistborn cloaks, for reference, because I don't know if listeners have heard what Mistborn cloaks are. Mistborn cloaks are kind of a mottled gray, white, and black, with tassels. Better to blend in with the mist, obviously. With tassels and kind of like ribbony bits flowing off them, again to make them kind of a weird, odd shape, so you better blend into the mist because it's not the silhouette of a human, it's more of a lumpy, frilly, like flowing silhouette.
Like a ghillie suit.
Yes, it'd be like almost exactly like a ghillie suit, but in like mottled, like mist or snowish kind of coloring, and then a little bit more cloak and less like suit. But yeah,
that rules.
We've got hoods and masks and satchels with knitting supplies in them because I just can't. Okay, I'm gonna have to be sitting there waiting for him to like get his raccoon in and out of the house. I need something to do.
I just picture this little old lady sitting on a rooftop, just click,
crouched up on a little spire somewhere, making a sock.
A newly like realized Mistborn out for like their first journey, like slips on a roof tile, seeing her, being like, "What the heck?" and like runs away.
It's got spiky things, dangly bit hanging off of it. What on earth? Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's great. Yeah, you can fairly easily make it to House to Kill's manor.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna like it's not hard for you. Burning pewter and tin and I assume copper to hide yourself because you're not a novice. But
not at all.
Yeah, burning pewter, tin, and copper, and then the odd steel push and iron pull. The odd steel push and iron pull to like boost yourself. You can make it that like Windslorp, you're just like clinging to her back, and then your raccoon is clinging to your back. And
I love it. Nesting doll style. Perfect.
Yeah. And then you're just like, it's much quicker than you anticipated. Like, you knew Mildred had secrets, and you knew that like Mistborns were strong, but like riding the back of a Mistborn is much quicker than you anticipated. Yeah, it was a very interesting
my brain
piggyback ride.
Stop with that one scene from Twilight. I'm sorry.
Oh yes,
on Spider Monkey.
Oh no.
Oh no, not that.
If it was in my brain, it had to be in your brains too. I can't suffer alone.
Well, we have to stop playing this game now.
Yep, it's over. The game's over.
How you did it, Caitlin?
How could you do this?
I was the target demographic for those books, okay? I have no shame about it.
Well, you should develop some.
Nope. I will take my millennial grave.
So,
my side part and skinny jeans. You cannot take this.
Oh boy. How long do we have to plant the book?
You guys.
Yeah, how long did it take us?
You guys make it there fairly reasonable time. I'm gonna say you have about 2 hours because I said you had 3.5 safely 4 hours. So I would say you have 2 hours
time.
Yeah,
it took us time to like get out the house.
Yeah, it took you about an hour.
Kids, you know.
Yeah, it took you about an hour to get out the house and here. Maybe a little over an hour.
So like safely 2 hours.
Safely just shy of 2 hours. Okay. 2 hours would be, fairly safe to say 2 hours.
Okay.
And that's, of course, to get back, which is, about half an hour or so.
And very important.
It is very important, but less important to be, caught out and about nearish to your house versus being caught directly at the house you're planting.
Well,
yeah.
Wrecks a lot of things if we're caught out and about nearish my house in matching cloaks.
No, that's true. That's true.
On a rooftop somewhere. Yeah. Anyway.
Assassin's Creed style.
Yeah. Okay. So we know from the party, well, in Windslorp, you know more because you went on your little bathroom jaunt. And I would know, I guess, a little bit of the layout of the house.
Yeah, you've been in the manor many, many times, Mildred.
But like, I don't necessarily know like where the bedrooms and stuff are. Are we just thinking like library or like his room?
I mean,
his room would be better if we knew where it is.
Well, depends on what you want to say, because like you're going to be telling this to Twyla's son. So
I need to have an alibi for how I found out about it. And it's not going to work then, is it?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Library. It needs to be a believable, like, hey, I saw this.
You telling me it's not believable that a saucy old lady like Mildred's finding stuff in guys' bedrooms?
I mean, if you can give me a reason, I ain't gonna say no. But I'm just saying.
Oh, now I'm trying to find a reason.
So what we could do, we could say, oh, my ward wandered off at the party and told me and was looking through the library and told me of a very interesting book that you might want to look into. As my ward said, it was placed in this part of the library. Make it like really obvious place. Maybe on a table or something that's just been like sitting out.
Do we know what their library looks like? Is that safe to assume that I might know that?
Yeah. You would be. You again. Yeah, you've been around the block a few times. I've seen their library. You might not have seen it in a year or two, but
it's not like people redecorate that often.
No, people don't redecorate, especially a house. Yeah. If anything, it's missing a few things.
Right. Ooh,
because they've sold some things. But like...
But there's probably still that like reading table on the right side by the window to make something
quite possible. Like quite possible. Or, there like that built-in bookshelf over the fireplace,
we want the book to look like it
was written or read recently.
Like, we don't want it too put away.
Yeah.
We want it sort of out.
Yeah.
Okay. So
what we should do is we should have it with some war history books as well. Have some war history books out. Pull like a war history book or two out and have that with the
Although that might be hard to get a raccoon to do by himself. Are we...
Unfortunately, your raccoon cannot read.
Dang it. He can
do many things, but he cannot
read. He could put a book in a room, but he wouldn't be able to like set up a little vignette for us.
Yeah.
Okay. How, How easy would it be for one or both of us to get, do we try the raccoon? I mean, we could try the raccoon first, or do we try us first and then raccoon as backup? Or one of us, or both of us?
There is guards on the walls. There's you could try yourselves. You do notice there's definitely. So the other night at the party, there was swarms of guards. There's probably 3 guards on the wall from what you can gather. And it looks like maybe 1 at the gate. Although the one at the gate, it's a little like you can see quite well, but there's obviously like a door. Oh wait, no, they're a great house. So there would be a door going into like a little room by the gate, and then that goes around parts of the wall and stuff. So like there might be only 1 guard at the gate, might be and then kind of that guard moves to maybe the other gate or something, or it could be 2. There's probably, I'm just saying for like estimating guards, you can safely assume it's less than 8 guards, probably closer to 4, maybe even only 3 guards total.
Okay, so minimum 3, less than 8.
Yeah.
Do we want to try and take any of them out? I feel like that's in bad taste if we're trying.
Yeah, we don't want it to be perceived in any way, so we don't want to leave a trail like that.
But we do want to distract them in some way.
Potentially, where's the library? Like, it has windows. Yeah. Can we get in through the library windows?
Yeah, you could get into the library windows. You see You see no lights on in the house, which is a little strange because normally there's like servants mulling about a little bit.
Is that extra strange? Is that sus? Am I worried about that?
Make you can make a wits check, I guess. And you can go, I'll give you observant and good memory for this wits check. I'll make it a difficulty of 3. Do you have? Yeah. I'll give you a good memory, difficulty of 3 on a wits check. So 6 dice.
Wits 5, 6. Can I get an extra dice because I'm old and I know things like that, like how a household is run? Like I'm in charge of my household, so I know.
Yeah. I'll give you a dice for that too.
Yeah.
Sure.
No. Okay, so that's 6 then.
So that's 7.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Yeah, because I was giving you 1 for your good memory.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's 7.
Okay. 2 4s, 2 6s.
Double 4s? Yeah, I was gonna do difficulty of 3.
With
so
6.
with 6s boosts the success. You looking at it, it's pretty easy to like. You're kind of stumped for a half second, as you said, like, this is odd. And then the faces of some of the servants kind of flash in your mind. And you've seen them at other houses. And now all the pieces of like, House Decal is not doing well financially. They had extra guards on staff and now they're super understaffed on their guards. He was renting servants from other houses for the party. Because he doesn't have enough staff on hand.
And so probably saving money on lighting and like just real.
So
So
the odds of like
just fully like he's poor.
Yeah, he's hurting for money. You like your household would have a servant, probably up wandering, like not as a guard, but just kind of pseudo wandering the halls. Just because it's good practice to have a light kind of eluding Mistborns, making them think there might be more guards. Also, just to hear any noises if like one of the lords or ladies needs something in the night, or
there'd be
there'd be 1 or 2 servants just awake. Is fairly standard practice, especially for the great houses. He's probably all his servants are asleep, and I say all as a loose term because there's probably, you would assume, less than a handful. Like he's not paying, if you're seeing 3 to 8 guards, he's probably not paying more than a dozen people, maybe a dozen and a half at a really good day. So there could be as low as only like 12 people, including the lord and lady themselves, and like their 1 or 2 kids.
All right.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Okay.
So what I can do is strike up a diversion with the raccoon, and since recently we know the servants' quarters, since we wandered through them during the party, we know them quite well from memory. We can, my raccoon and I can stir up a bit of a disturbance in that area. So since it is far enough removed from the library, and it'll give you an escape route, entrance and escape route, while they're dealing with a quote feral raccoon in the house.
Feels risky. Do we need a diversion? Well, I'm just thinking, do we need a diversion in the house or to get in the house?
Honestly,
I have an idea for
looking at it.
I have an idea for a diversion outside of the house as well. Do you have anything that could cause an explosion if lit?
Oh yeah, I do.
You do? Okay.
I
have
She pulls out very strong smelling flask.
Perfect. Okay, I have
You're too young.
I have a bolt gun on hand. We can cause a distraction. I can fire one of the bolts near near the guards, so that distracts them.
Get them running somewhere else.
And as long as you allow me to have the flask, I can fire off several to distract them, so you can get into the house. I can have the raccoon go the other direction of you, so that we cause a bit of a disturbance. It's normal for animals to be able to get around, especially with a place this understaffed. That is not under the norm, not out of the ordinary for a wild animal to get into the house. We're going to have to take off his bow tie, though.
He hisses at you at the mention.
Take off his bow tie. I'm not going to try that.
Yes, but to be able to use that, to be able to use the explosives, obviously I'll have to rip ribbons of the bow tie off and tie them to the bolts, so that I can soak them in the liquid and light them up.
No, we don't need to wreck his little bow tie. She pulls out her knitting bag. Got bits of yarn, and we've got string, we've got flammables.
Perfect.
You are the knitting club.
We're the knitting club.
Perfect.
My props. I've got a knitting bag. I've got stationery on me too in my props.
Yeah, you have paper.
I've got straight up paper. I've got paper and booze. I don't have anything to light it. I don't have. What do we have that can actually spark?
Oh.
You got rid of... Did you get rid of your tweezers? Did we lose those?
Yeah, he threw them.
No, but didn't she give them back to him?
Yes, she did. She picked them up and gave them back to him.
Because we could use those, right? To spark, maybe?
No, it would be wooden Oh, no, they were metal specifically, yeah. Yeah, they'd be like just steel, or not steel, they'd be like iron tweezers.
Okay, so because then the plan would be we get Winslorp set up in whatever best little spire so he can shoot off some flaming arrows. So the guards are distracted, so I can get in the window. And the raccoon can get in on the other side of the house to sort of make sure that my getting in the window isn't heard from inside of the house. I set up a little book vignette moment to be suspicious. And then I get out back to Winslorp. The raccoon is an animal and can find its way home probably. And we get home. No one's the wiser.
Okay.
Yeah? And break.
Okay.
I told you needed me.
Does it work? PM, does it work? Does it work?
Well, we're going to roll for it.
All right.
Okay. Winslorp.
I'm going to have to roll for wit, correct?
What do we roll? You're rolling to shoot a crossbow. I'm just trying to think. What?
We're going to come back around to why my 8-year-old board carries a crossbow with him at all times, by the way.
I said we have secrets. You will, in due time, woman, you will know.
Continuing to be a Mistborn, burning her medals. Fine.
Right. It is not just a crossbow. It is a semi-automatic 6-shooter bolt gun.
Oh my god!
Crossbow style.
Winslorp, where did you get that? Anyway, continuing. What are you rolling?
I want to say it's a physique roll.
Well, if it's a crossbow, it wouldn't be physique. Those are so easy.
Would it be wit?
If it was longbow, it would be physique.
There's not a lot of there's only like 6 things in this system is kind of the
right.
Wits
or willpower, maybe?
Willpower is a health.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, willpower.
Health is health.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So health is your physical health. Reputation is your reputation. If your reputation goes to 0, you'll be executed, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then willpower is your like mental health.
Okay.
If your mental health goes to 0, yeah,
kill yourself.
If your mental health goes to 0, well, that's one of the options. But the other options is a nice house that's cozy somewhere in the countryside.
Nice job that hugs you snugly.
Yeah.
Okay, so charm is that's charisma.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
That's why I'm kind of like.
Well, aiming would be maybe wits, right?
Yeah, strategy for aiming and location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll give you wits or physique.
I don't know which one of yours is better, Winslow.
I'm not. I don't have quite the rippling physique as one would hope an 8-year-old boy would have.
That's fair.
I'm just a normal style little boy. Not a very strong little boy. Just a little boy.
Okay.
So we're gonna roll wits then.
Do you get bonuses? Are you keen-sighted? What do you...
I'm gonna give you a bonus for your profession.
Mm-hmm.
And
because I'm quite learned with my weapon.
Yeah, you're learned with your weapon.
Okay. Secrets, he says.
And yeah, I think that's the only bonus I'm gonna give you.
Okay, so that'll be one extra dice.
1 extra dice, yeah. And I'll say it's going to be a difficulty of 2 to cause a distraction. Because like fire crossbow fire arrows are going to be, someone's going to make noise about that. That's not a hard thing to make a distraction for.
No.
If you're being like caca, that's
okay. So that's
but this is literally firing fire arrows. Double 2s and double 6s.
You did it.
Let's go.
Right?
Yeah. So the fun thing about double 6, if it had been just double 6s, that's not actually a success.
Right.
But because you got the double 2s, it is a success. Not only is this a success, but you can cash in your 2 6s to take an extra action of some kind if you so choose. Because it's like you're doing it is such a quick success.
Interesting. What this little rapscallion do in this situation? What would be helpful in this situation? Because I don't need further distraction, but we do need extraction. Okay, so am I able to? How about I steal some pungent cheese from the kitchen while the raccoon's making noises, so that the raccoon.
Well, you're on a rooftop.
Yeah, I guess that's too far. Oh,
yeah, that's a bit of a distance.
You could. Is there anything really great you could like burn down while you're shooting off some fiery arrows?
Yeah, like your distraction.
Like fire arrows. Can you like arson?
Your distraction could be not deliberately like, because distracting the guards specifically is one thing, but you could use your extra action to, instead of you could distract everyone in the area with a random building burning, so it's not pinpointed. Like the guards are like, something happened here tonight,
Right. So I'll I'll scurry across to the adjacent tower.
Yeah.
And just like light that on fire.
Excellent. So yeah,
Or
you
wait,
shoot
hold
some
on.
crossbows.
Wait, hold on. Is there a nursery in the grounds below that I can access?
Like a plant one?
Like a
Yeah, like a
plant or
plant
people?
nursery, or like some sort of like garden house or something that
like a greenhouse of some sort.
No, greenhouses would be like of even the 10 great houses. Greenhouses are a very, very expensive thing.
Okay, is there like a
so
work shed or a mill?
Stuff. Yeah, there'd be like a work shed,
like some sort of outbuilding.
Yeah,
some sort of like that's just has like tools and whatnot in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me burn that down instead. That's a good one to burn down.
Are you burning down their specific one or like a random person's one?
Is it not inside the grounds of the?
Yeah, there is. Sorry, I'm just double checking.
There would be other houses nearby that have
Yeah. Do you want to like? Because I'm just double checking like what kind of distraction you're making here. Because you can make a distraction specifically that's like they realize something's happening on their compound, or you can make a distraction that distracts like big enough that's like the whole block is now distracted.
Yeah, no, let's do that. Okay, yeah, no, let me burn down. let me burn down.
It's like the neighbor's potting shed, or I guess they wouldn't have that. We just established that.
Just one of the neighborhood shops. It's just a random shop on the street because there'd be like the great house and they're like wall, and then it's some shops and a few little odds houses and things, and you just pick a random one and you're like, I'm gonna burn this.
Is there okay is there a distillery or like apothecary or something to that degree that will like explode if I shoot some fire arrows in there?
Yeah, sure. We're gonna go with let's go with, I mean, this is the, do you want, okay. Yeah, because they're the trade and commerce, so people of trade and commerce would build up around them. Yeah, you could find either an apothecary or distillery. So a distillery would probably explode a little more and burn a little longer.
Yeah,
or an apothecary, or an apothecary might leak odd gases and things, which might be terrifying.
Yeah, there'd be bad smells.
Yeah,
coming from
potentially toxic. Well, like, yeah, there'd be potentially toxic or hallucinogenic smells.
Ooh.
Oh, coming from the apothecary, mist, right? People are thinking that there's wraiths out there. Yeah, let's do the apothecary.
Okay. So you're gonna forgo larger explosion for hallucinogenic and toxic. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, you see like a little, or not a little, it'd be like a reasonable sized apothecary building, and you fire some arrows at it, and yeah, the building starts to catch fire pretty quickly. And pretty soon it's in a reasonable fire, and the guards are shouting. They've all come to that side of the wall. People are starting to like shout from other buildings. Yeah.
And Mildred is slipping in a window.
Excellent.
All right. Do I need to roll?
No, you're
well and truly sneaky.
You're well, like, as a Mistborn, it's not a difficult thing to sneak into a window.
Especially with a big burning building.
Yeah.
All right.
You're like, you hear, like, as the building starts to catch on fire more, and as the guards start to shout, you can hear some like rustling in the house as people are waking up and like realizing something's going on. But if you're just doing a quick rustle, which you would know what books to go with which, because again, and you'd be in and out in no time.
And did little raccoon guy, he's good, right? Just checking.
He's just sitting on the ledge of the wall watching the fire burn.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't even have to go inside.
He did. He's what?
Like, no, we're good.
he heard your orders of like go inside and stir shit up, and then he saw the building. Like he thought you were just gonna fire a few shots of like arrows, and then he just saw this huge blaze, and he's got a little snack, and he's just munching, like, watching the fire burn.
All right.
Yeah. You guys can meet back up.
What did you do?
Let me actually wait. Let me see. I should roll. Okay. The fire has started a fairly good blaze. They did not get to it in time. There are people coming and like things are happening, but yeah, it's starting to get to a bit of a blaze, and you can only assume that soon the smoke, like already people are avoiding the smoke and telling, like the apothecary has come out of the house and he's kind of not looking good, and people are like, avoid the smoke. Yeah. As they try and battle this fire.
And then I yell from a distance, look out, there's a wraith.
Oh no.
Just screams.
It's about at that point that I catch back up to him, smack him on the back of the head. Just, what did you do? Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
So I think
that'll distract them enough.
Yeah.
It certainly will distract them enough for a week. Let's go. How long has that taken us?
Honestly,
and does the fire, like, are we any more concerned about visibility? Are we good getting home?
No, people are focused on the fire.
Fair,
you're good.
Fair. Okay.
You're good. You do see like the odd mistling or mistborn potentially like kind of going that way, because like news might have kind of spread, or like, and they're shouting.
Are we able to stay away? Like, I don't.
How hidden do you want to stay? Because
I don't want to be. Sorry. I don't want to be perceived going the wrong direction in this moment,
Okay. I mean, again, people would still like it. It'd be ninja to ninja. Like, oh, someone clearly did this. They wouldn't know who, as long as they can't see Winslow and the raccoon. They know that someone has burnt
on my back, and I'm going towards my house. Like, I don't want.
Well, you're going away from this thing, not necessarily towards your house. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's the point. Yeah, like we're not making a straight line. We're like,
no, you'd be zigzaggy roundabout. Yeah, yeah.
Gotta be sneaky.
Of course. So okay. So would you like to be? I guess there's two questions. Would you like to be noticed that someone has left the crime scene? Because you could put Florp down somewhere and then like go back for him and then move it, like, or like hide him, kind of like, instead of piggyback.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
You could hide him like under, like if he clings to your chest almost, and then like.
Well, yeah, we've got cloaks. It would just be extra bumpy.
Yeah. So yeah, do you want to have someone fleeing the scene, or do you want no trace at all? Because again, the only thing you've done that's traceable is someone has burnt down this apothecary.
And at some, like, I mean, we've left the book, but they wouldn't necessarily know that happened. Is Lord to Kill somebody who's like keeps track of his library? Like, would I be able to know? Like, yeah, he doesn't.
Honestly, there was a few tables and there was a few tables and chairs missing and a few books missing. Like he's sold some things.
So he's not into his library. So like that's not what I'm getting at is they wouldn't necessarily know that that book was planted tonight.
No, and you're going to be telling the quote unquote constable this morning, and he's probably going to go this afternoon.
Right.
So
days prior.
And there's going to be like a bunch of shit. Like they're going to be dealing with the smoke and other like.
Right.
No one's going to be checking their library thoroughly to be like, hey, who left this book out?
Yeah, just to make sure
the apothecary right next door has burnt down.
Yeah. Just to make sure that if there's somebody leaving the scene of the arson, that it won't get tied to the other unexplained thing that happened that night.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I don't think there's... Do I know anything about the apothecary or like the area of town or just in general? Would it be beneficial? I'm trying to think if it would be beneficial for it to not be an accident.
I don't know. Honestly, it was a random apothecary.
Right. Just general chaos.
There's pros and cons to both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are people targeting apothecaries? Was this a specific apothecary? True. Was this a, which house is this apothecary working for? You're gonna have to do some digging, or news will spread about, or like.
Would I know that?
You wouldn't know it offhand. No.
No, fair.
Yeah. So like, again, is it specific apothecaries that people are targeting? Is it just apothecaries in general now need to be worried, or?
Well, let's sow chaos then. I want to, we're going to arrange ourselves in a way to just be extra lumpy, and because I don't think I don't necessarily, with more people around, want to leave Winslorp and Little Raccoon Guy.
No, that's fair.
To be potentially in a draft of smoke somewhere.
No, fair. You can be extra lumpy. That's pretty easy. And again, when I say you're seen leaving the scene,
a Mistborn was seen leaving the scene.
Yeah, a Mistborn was seen from a distance. Yeah, like assumed Mistborn because you're wearing a Mistborn cloak, and Mistlings very rarely wear Mistborn cloaks out of respect for other Mistborns because they're killed very quickly if they're caught. Mistborns do not take lightly to people wearing. It's like an honor thing,
right? We're fancy.
But it's also an honor system because, like, as long as a Mistling doesn't get caught, they can easily wear a Mistborn cloak. But the second, like, a Mistborn notice it, like, if you're at 30 feet and you're passing each other, it's kind of like a don't look at each other. But if you clock that, like, oh, they're clearly not copper clouding themselves, and Mistborns always copper cloud themselves because, like, you'd be stupid not to. Okay, well, they're clearly not a Mistborn. I'm going to just go over there and quickly kill them because do not wear my cloak.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah. So, yeah. You guys get home. Don't worry about it.
But we are seen.
You are noticed is probably a better.
Oh, we are noticed.
Yeah, not seen.
Like,
do I notice who noticed?
Yeah. You would notice. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Do I notice who noticed? You
noticed like a Mistling and a Mistborn maybe noticed you kind of like, again, you're passing at like 30, 40 feet.
More just less about what they saw about me and more, did I learn anything about them? Is it?
No, it would be like
not
you see the same as them. Like they see a hooded, lumpy figure move through the mist away from things. Whereas you see
that they're going towards the thing. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not weird that they're going towards the source of light and noise because they want to figure out what's going on and then report back to whoever they report back to.
Right.
So it's again, it'd be for both you leaving, noticing them, and them noticing you leaving. Nobody's like, oh wow, this is super important news. It's like, okay, this is just part of the news.
Right.
It's not a crazy detail that, because at the end of the day, someone burned this down they can now just say, oh, I think it was a Mistborn rather than just someone. And the fact that it's a Mistborn might add to the like, oh, well, then it's probably this house. Oh, maybe it's that house. Maybe it's this.
Right.
And the fact that you're a lower house Mistborn works to your advantage.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out. We'll have to find out who in the news whose shop that was, so that we can then see if we can pin other, since already we have 2 houses entangled. If this ends up being a similar one, we can further entangle them. Or if it ends up being another one, we can entangle a third one within.
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking Saltburn level deceit here, you know?
Nice. I'm gonna speed things up because it's a little late, and I want to wrap this session up, and there's not much left in it. So I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit here. You talk to Twyla's son, and basically, or maybe you just kind of send him a note. You maybe not necessarily like, you just kind of like, hey, I saw like something, or my ward or your mother's ward saw something shifty here, kind of thing. And just kind of give him a little tip, sort of thing. He goes that afternoon and finds the book with, you crammed some like crib sheet notes in the book so that he can decode it faster, because again, time is of the essence. And everyone knows Lord Lord Tikel. Lord Tikel.
He's not
the smartest. So like having the odd crib sheet for his secret code, it's a good secret code, and people will assume it was made by someone else, but like it
adds credibility to
it. Adds credibility that he has a crib sheet or two. So he's able to decode it, and Lord Tikel is executed that like the next morning, sort of thing. They move
fast. All right.
Yeah, he's tried and executed and just hanging in the streets. It's
brutal.
Not good. A few days go by, and you hear that one of Tikel's, or like a day or so, a day and a bit goes by, a few days, and you hear of one of Lord Tikel's shipments for food has gone missing. You hear a bunch of other rumors, but you can assume that was probably because it was a fairly large shipment, and you can assume that was probably the incident that the book was referring to, because that hurts them hard, because they now owe money back to the people who bought the shipment, because it was a privately bought shipment. So, and like food stores are low right now, so the fact that they have to pay back the food that went missing is going to hurt them, and the fact that their credibility to transport food is going to hurt that. Like,
who took over? Sorry, Lord Tequil's dead. Who's the new lord?
I will have to look into that. It's one of his. It'll be one of his children or one of his nephews or nieces. I have to look into who it is.
Okay.
But someone will have taken over, but the house is. The rumors going around is there's now only 9 great houses.
Right.
They've fallen enough that they actually sold their manor in the city and have bought a smaller manor out, like still in the city, but like it's much, much smaller, and it's not as nice. And so House Tikel has fallen.
Nice. We did it.
Okay. And I think we'll end the session there with House Tikel falling. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. I was Ian, the narrator.
I was Caitlin as Mildred.
I was M as Winsler.
And we are sponsored by nobody. Signing off.